What does loneliness boil down to? Really, the experience of being lonely. It's an inactive mind, for the most part, in my understanding of things. Without having a voice inside of our head that convinces us that life is interesting, that there is more to do, that things should be done with a grain of salt, without a little bit of intrinsic motivation, an intrinsic locus of control, we are going to have a really, really hard time being alone. And there's a bunch of videos you can watch on YouTube about this, but really, they're all saying the same stuff, right? If you want to spend time alone, there's two main things. There's a philosophy, a mentality of actually spending that time alone, whether or not you're okay with spending time with yourself. And then there's the things that you do. So the things that you do, most of the people are saying eat healthy, spend time to come up with good habits, hobbies that you used to do when you were little. Really just trying to make the most out of your day. So for me, the path of spending a lot of time alone really comes down to how I wake up in the morning. If I wake up and I think to myself, oh, this is going to be a shit day. If I wake up and think to myself, I don't really have any plans, I'm just going to go for it. I don't know. For me, at least, it just doesn't end up panning out all that well. And the reason is because if anything comes out of left field, it could throw me off of my track. But if I have a list of things that I know that I want to do, it makes me feel a lot more confident about my day. It makes me feel a lot more secure in my loneliness, I guess. It lets me have it lets me take the macroscopic view that I often want to take in life. I'm a bit of a strategist. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tarab. I talk about emotional intelligence and strategies to allow people to realize their potential in life. And the reason I do this is because I think it's my purpose in life to catalyze people's purpose, if that makes sense. So the other stuff with loneliness that I think is very important is the habits that they're talking about. So one of the habits that I have in the morning, because I got this hair transplant, is I take a single pill. I'll go and take a shower, and I'll read. I read when I'm on the toilet. And the reason I do that is because I have a little book club that I set up for myself a long time ago in order to circumvent loneliness, actually, creating a community that reads books, and I can show up with every week and a half and talk about the things that I've learned in my books. And oftentimes I end up getting a lot of really, really awesome insight for these kind of philosophical, self-help, spiritual topics. And I think the importance of putting together the habits is really just self-worth. If we don't have things that we are expecting ourselves to do, and we don't follow through, well, if we don't have things that we expect ourselves to do, we don't really have a point to compare anything to, which is the first thing. So setting some goals, I think, is very important. To then go and hit those goals, to then go and prove to yourself that you can indeed do the things that you set your mind to. I have realized how much it has increased my confidence, how much it has increased my ability to spend time alone, because I realize that it's sometimes more productive than spending time with people. Which, if you're like starting a small business, or if you're a business owner, or if you want to do anything in life, you're gonna have to spend some time alone to think about what you want to do. I promise you. Because if you don't, you're not gonna have the right strategies. You're not gonna be educating yourself in the way that's required. So it's very, very important to spend time alone and be healthy about it, and not just go and watch porn all day, or to watch videos on YouTube that just entertain you, or spend a lot of money on absolute bullshit like card games and stuff. Like, you can do all those. Do whatever the hell you want, really. It's my advice, take it as you will. Hopefully it's useful to you. And the healthy part of it, which I thought a lot of people made made really, really good points on, and actually something that I've taken away is you want to be a person that you want to spend time with, right? So a lot of people run away from being alone because we're not very kind to ourselves. And what does kindness mean? It's like this kind of amorphous term subject, but really it comes down to pushing yourself to do what you know you're capable of doing, but being compassionate when you don't do those things and telling yourself that your past self is not you now, right? That we are expected to be different people, hopefully, throughout life. If you want to remain the same in life, you might as well turn this video off. If you want to go and change and like pursue your nth degree, the part of you that will really make you proud and bring up the people around you, there's going to be things that we have to do in terms of how we talk to ourselves that are going to allow us to last in a marathon mentality. Like, if you can't spend time alone with yourself and you have a hard time forgiving yourself, or you have a hard time being nice to yourself, like, hey, you look good today, or I love you, or you need a break, like take a break. If you're having a hard time doing that to yourself, then obviously you're gonna run away, and obviously you're gonna go and watch like 500 TikTok videos, and obviously you're gonna go and just waste time and not think about how awesome of a person you are, right? Like, we have to be able to appreciate ourselves a lot, and that's part of being emotionally intelligent too. It's knowing our value and trying to like squeeze it out, trying to distill it, right? It's my firm belief that if we can find the value in ourselves, then we'll be able to very easily find the value in other people and be able to get a lot more out of life. Like, it's a golden rule for me. It starts inside, it starts in your head, right? Like, you gotta, anyway. So, all right, so we have some habits. We have things that we do I have things that I do in the morning. I have habits. I have this kind of philosophy of being kind to myself. So what are some other habits that have been really, really good for me to spend time with alone? And I'll be very clear, like, I'm not alone all the time, right? So I currently live in my mother's house, and the plan is essentially to take over all of her burdens and allow her to live whatever life that she wants, while also obviously expecting her to be the greatest possible person that she can be. So, and nurturing that, genuinely nurturing that. So we'll switch off on the cooking stuff, but eating healthy and being in shape and like the mind-body connection, like your body is a temple thing, I strongly believe in that. And in years past, I didn't. In years past, I didn't spend that much time working out, and I had some very unhealthy habits that kind of like took up a lot of my time and didn't give me the time really to think about myself. Like, it was like an avoidance thing. But I'm telling you, like, if you get into a motion of working out a couple times a week, I like to do things daily, but I don't think it's necessary. If you get into the motion of doing things consistently a couple times a week, or once a week, or I say once a week is like the minimum. Like, do it once a week, and that way you'll actually get better at something and you'll actually like enjoy the process. But healthy things like eating right, like having vegetables and fruit and good carbs and not eating out all the time, is going to save you a shitload of money, first of all, which you should always be thinking about, because, well, your financial situation is also going to determine the quality of your time a lot of the time. And it's going to save you a lot of money. It's going to make you feel good about yourself because you're loving yourself, you care about yourself. So obviously you want this thing to have the best possible nutrients. It's like having a plant. Like if anyone's, I hope you have a plant. If you have a plant, you know that every now and then you have to give it some nutrients, right? You have to water it occasionally depending on what it needs. You have to set it in the right location. You have to make sure that when you're gone, you kind of overwater it. Like there's plenty of stuff that we do for other things, other living things in our life that we often don't do for ourselves. And that actually ends up diminishing our ability to care for those other things. It might not feel like it, but I promise you, it's probably there. So your habits, the mindset of being alone, and in the past I've kind of advocated for finding something that you really are passionate about and then like pushing forward. I think a diversity is equally important. And I think for most people, diversity is actually more accessible because we're kind of hardwired to get bored of stuff a lot in life. And if we find like 4 or 5 things that we can do every day that really, split up the time and make it so that we feel good about ourselves, spending time alone gets a lot easier. Spending time alone is necessary. I'm telling you. You're your only companion, really, in this life. Like shit's gonna happen where you're gonna have to be alone. And if we don't know how to deal with that, everything else is gonna suffer in life. So get your shit together. And I'm sure a lot of you do already, a lot of the people that are watching this channel. I'm sure you guys have a lot of things to be grateful for, a lot of things that motivate you and keep you going, and hopefully I can help in any part of that. But basically, just because you're lonely doesn't mean you're living an unsuccessful life. Sometimes, right? I'm not saying don't have friends. I'm not saying like if you don't have any friends or a friend group that you shouldn't go and try to make that and try to get out and try to find people. There's gold places, I promise you. If you search enough, you will find good people, amazing people, and the people that you have in your life already, keep track of them. But really, like, loneliness is not bad. Being alone is not bad. In fact, it's necessary. It's a part of nature, right? It's a part of being human to have to reflect and to not lie to ourselves about who we are and what we want to do in life. So do it. Do it. Take care. Actualize your potential, Catalyst. This world needs you.